All right, Jeff Goodman here with Randolph Childress, breaking down the game of potential, probable first-round pick, Duke freshman Dariq Whitehead. Came in with a ton of hype.
Yeah.
All-American, McDonald's All-American, big, strong, athletic wing, and showed some potential. Listen, he was up and down. He was hurt in the preseason with a right foot injury, had surgery on his fifth metatarsal bone in his right foot. Obviously, it didn't even heal right because he had another procedure after the season ended before the NBA draft on that same foot. You know, his numbers were modest, averaged about 8 points a game. He did shoot 43% from three. And I thought that was, honestly, if you're taking one thing away from Dariq Whitehead's season this year, that you say to yourself, you know what? That helped his draft stock. It was the fact that he shot the ball very well from three, but he never established himself, RC, as the go-to guy at Duke that we thought he was going to be. Instead, that was kind of Kyle Filipowski.
But what he did was when he finally got himself over the injuries and got himself in shape, he was also one of the reasons that so many of us was picking that Duke team to make a run, because he started elevating. He was another shot creator with size. He started showing shot making ability. When he got games under him and got in shape, he was a double-digit scorer for that group. And that was where you're like, man, wait a minute. He provided consistent outside perimeter threat shooting. I mean, shot over 40% from three, but he added that to that team, a team that struggled with that length as a wing. I thought even with the injuries, most guys, you're saying, hey, this guy had a stress fracture early. He had the other little muscle injury late in the year. He had two injuries that caused him to miss games this year. I would have said, hey, for the average kid, hey, you need to come back to school. You're only shot 42% from the floor. You need to come back. But when he shot 42% from three, almost making two a game, it was like, all right, you know what? We know with the size, the body, he's ready to go. If he checks all the box and he passes the physicals, then I think he's someone that's been all over the draft boards, but I think someone will take him in the top 20.
He is all over the draft boards. And I think a lot of people thought he'd be a top 10 pick coming into the year. I don't see that. But again, great size for a wing. Everybody wants a multi-dimensional, versatile wing these days. He's got the ability to be that down the road, and you're really buying him low. Like his stock is going to be probably about as low as it's been. If you get him in the 20s, nobody would have imagined that's where he would have gone. But now you could be looking at a guy like that. You know, to me, I'm trying to think of a good comparison for him. You know, I'm looking at another Duke guy that really never materialized to what we thought he'd be, because he was stuck behind a couple of bigger name Duke guys named Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett, and that's Cam Reddish. Is he a little bit like a Cam Reddish? Obviously, he's had his different issues, more injury than Reddish, stuck behind two studs at Duke. But could he be that? Like, Cam Reddish has been kind of a piece in the NBA and never kind of completely, to me, Cam Reddish has a ton of upside, a ton of talent. I don't think we would disagree on that. I don't know if Dariq has as much talent, pure talent, as Cam Reddish. No. But again, could he be that type of guy that, is just a piece and trying to figure out his way in the NBA, where he belongs and what he does well? Like, that's what I worry about with Dariq Whitehead, is does he do any one thing great to whereas he's going to be able to stick and be a guy on a team?
I don't know if he has an elite offensive package, but again, if he can continue to shoot close to 40% from three at his size and his ability to defend, you got to do. Cam Reddish has always been a tease in some aspect because he was trying to be a point guard, which he's never wasn't. He has his upside because of his ball skills and who he's always played with. He's a guy from in high school. He could give you 50 or he could give you 4. He's just been that guy. This injury-riddled season by Dariq, we don't know what, Whitehead, we don't know what his upside can be. But again, he showed us a lot. He's battled back from those injuries. I was impressed, Jeff, that he came back and played after the second one.
Right. He could have shut it down.
He could have just shut it down. So you got to give him credit for that in today's culture and today's times with young men. To his credit, he came back. He played. I thought physically Duke, we know what happened to them in the tournament against Tennessee.
Do you buy him as a really good shooter, or do you? Sometimes guys are fluky in their numbers. He's not going to be. To me, I think he's a mid-30s 3-point shooter in the NBA.
I agree. I don't think he's a 40% guy. I don't think he's great. I think he reminds me somewhat. He's not as good as I was going to pick another Duke guy, and Adrian Griffin. I thought he was similar to him. He's not the catch and shoot guy he is.
Griffin could really shoot it. No,
well, Griffin was a great. I think he can do more things. I do think he does better than Griffin. I think he can put it on the floor and go get you a bucket. Go get your mid-range shot. I think his ball handling, playmaking skills are a little better. Again, defensively, I think he's a better athlete in that aspect. I think when you get him in there and you're going to see him, can he catch and shoot and make threes? He's shown he could do that. He's the most intriguing guy. When you get him in there, I guarantee teams are going to have some of their current players there at their workouts to say, we just don't know enough about this guy.
What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah, and just be like, hey, what's your thought on this guy? Get him out there, get him uncomfortable. You kind of coach those guys to see where he is. But I like him. I mean, I think, again, when you get outside of certain guys, I like 6'7", 6'8" guys, ball skills, not a great shooter, but you got to guard him. Like, he's not poor where you can't just sit in the paint. You can't leave him open. You're going to have to guard him. I don't think he's a career 40% three-point shooter, but he doesn't have to be. If he shoots in the mid to upper 30s, you got yourself a player because he does defend. I'll give him that. I've seen him get after guys, get in the passing lanes. You need that at that size.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water, or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.
He's a wild card. To me, he's a complete wild card because we haven't seen a ton of them. First of all, we don't know how healthy he was this year. Right. That's number one, right? He was behind coming in because he was hurt in the preseason. So I think he's one of those guys that you take a shot at. If he's sitting there at 22, 23, you absolutely take a shot at, because you're probably a team that either is a team that went fairly deep in the playoffs anyway, and you're trying to bolster your second unit, or you have multiple first-round picks. And that's where, to me, you grab a Dariq Whitehead in a heartbeat. If you've got a couple first-round picks, like even in Oklahoma City, somebody like that, you take somebody like this, see what you have, and then potentially you could always move him. If he plays, you want assets. You want assets, and I think this is a kid that could be an asset because, again, he's young enough to be able to develop. If he works, he's going to get better at all of these skills, whether it's, again, shooting. He was really good, as we talked about in college. All he's got to be is a mid to high 330s guy, and to me, he's got value in the league.
So I'm going to draft him really high. I think he goes before even the mid-20s because he's coming in with this reputation. He's the number 2 ranked player in high school.
Yeah. And
I think some of the concerns that we had about him in general, everybody was like, all right, how consistent is his outshot shooting?
Yes.
That was the thing. The thing he did the best is the thing that we had the most concern about. Everything else, we were like, oh, he's going to be really good at this. He's going to fit in great with these guys. That's the thing I think about him that has to be intriguing, because you go in thinking, I don't know how well he shoots it. And he shoots freaking 42% from 3.
Yeah.
Now, he had the injuries and he's battled through those things from the stress fracture. Like you said, I don't know if he ever fully got into shape. And you got a legitimate, we got no clue of that. And so I think his upside's there. When you get past outside of lottery, you got a bunch of people that are sitting there trying to figure out, hey, how good is this guy? What's his upside? He was the second-ranked player in high school. And I think you're going to get that. I think someone will take him in the teens, someone that maybe a playoff team to get him in, and he gets to come along gradually with a group of veteran guys, understand his role, maybe a 3-and-D type of guy, not an elite shooter, but a good shooter, versatile defender that can switch. We talk about that.
Yep.
I like him a lot. I just think that the intrigue and of checking all the box physically, and then let's see what we have and what he can become. I think he's worth that outside the lottery.
Yeah, I agree. Rolling the dice of Dariq Whitehead makes a lot of sense. Somewhere in that late teen, early 20 range. Again, shot it well from three. Also shot it well from the line.
Yes.
And I think that says a little bit too. Shot 79% from the line. Generally, again, if you're not a great shooter, you're going to be exposed either from three or from the line. He did both well. So again, if he can keep doing that, versatile wing, everybody wants him these days in the league. Strong, athletic, showed more skill level than we thought. Dariq Whitehead, maybe that X factor guy in the draft this year that a lot of people are going to watch and see, where does he end up going? I'm Jeff Goodman. He's Randolph Childress. This is the Field of 68, breaking down all the top players in the NBA draft.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.